into us. Right, good evening all. Pens and paper ready to take notes. Speakers tonight: Nigel Coe on Gladys, Paul Westwood on Chillies, Jeffrey Stafford, trial of his compost versus multi-purpose compost. If you remember, a few months ago I asked people to do a trial. There's 4 of you done it so far. Colin Stokes back garden, then Suzanne Kirk, odds and sods. 230 photos to get through tonight, so a good sesh. Next week we have Keith Iron from Surrey, Nick Brake from Somerset. So I need a few more for next week, just to keep me on top. Right, the first one, I see a kingfish again, is meal. Right, this is from last week, our trading sheds. We had Summit gnawing away at the compost bags, opening them up, whether it was a rat, as you can see that side there, or mice. It's got to be a rat. But we put some poison down, and I've took that. So we put another dollop down.
Find any droppings, Mick? Any droppings?
Couldn't find none now.
No. And normally rats are quite big, the droppings.
Oh, it's an idea actually. I'll have a perp when I go down.
Have a look.
Good thinking, Batman.
Okay, Batman, probably.
Right, finishing off my raised bed, top of the garden. These are from our training sheds. 3 bags of spent mushroom compost. Them have gone on. Any big lumps, I'll rub them out by hand. Then 2 bags of clover. Bung them in as well. This, what about a quarter of a bag? This is silver sand. I've had this for yonks. I found it in the underneath, back of beyond, in the shed. I ain't used this for bloody moons, but I might as well use it. It's another good ingredient once I spread it out. I went back up to weeks, got 5 bags of topsoil. Bung them out as well. Loads of pebbles in. Typical. In the end, out the 5 bags. Obviously, I broke the lumps up and levelled it off, and that's all the crap I had out the topsoil bags. Next one is worm casts. Spread that one out as well, and you can see a little chap there. This is from the training sheds, obviously. This is from a 1 ton bag of worm casts. So we've had this about 6 months, might be 7 months, getting near to the bottom. So he's been in there for bloody moons, meaning this is dry as a bone. So I thought, let's try, see if I can bring the chap back to life. Here's a close-up of him. Let's see if this is going to work. There was me speaking on it as well, but that ain't worked. Oh, there it is. Play. That's it. Got him. So that was my good deed for last week. Brought him back to life. Right, finishing off top dressing. This is charge beetle dung. And there's Rowley's biochar. Good man. Basalt rock dust. These lot are evenly spread out, and then just using the hand fork, I'm just going in 3.5 inch depth, well, the depth of the prongs, and just mixing that up. Beautiful. Any more little chaps that I've missed, then they'll come out as well. The hound under my tail, give it a stick in the sun, happy as Larry. Right, this one, Grow Organic. I've had that in the shed for yonks as well, because the bags have changed twice since this one. But these were large lumps, so all I've done is ruffle them out with my hands, so it's nice and small and not one big strong lump. So I've spread out them as well. So these have got a good brew under them. PTI grow me veg in here. Right, next thing, small ambush, which bloody rose in it there. I just wiped all the crap into there so I can water it. And I grab my brush. I don't like brooms, anything like that. So this has had a good soaking with rainwater. And luckily that night as well, that forecast rain. Go back on that one. Luckily I've got it's about a 3/4 roll. I used to use this on me raised beds on the allotment. So look, I've still got that left. This is porous, so this is going on here on top of this. Obviously, just stopping the hound getting up because I shall cover it after with this mesh, which will weigh it down. Because it frays once you've cut it, I'll then get my black tape from Wilco. So I'm going to half across there, turn it back over, then that will get pushed down at this side, obviously. And I'll do that all the way around just to stop it fraying. I've overlapped here slightly just in case it does rain overnight. In case they are right, which they said is. And I don't want it to wet the timber too much. So the mesh goes back on top. Keeps that down. Right, Nigel, our first speaker tonight. You ready, mate?
Yeah, evening everybody.
Good man, thanks sir.
Yeah, well, Mick asked me if I could put a few slides together of what was happening on the plot Gladywise at the moment. So there it is, absolutely diddly squat, nothing. Bed's all dug over and it's ready to go whenever I'm ready to go, which won't be for about another 6 weeks yet. Way too early, soil's too cold. Putting it glads in it now, they'll just sit and sulk. Any sort of roots that might be on the corms will just shrivel and die. So no point in doing anything at all until probably you could get away with it end of March. But as soon as you start seeing leaves on some of the broad leaf trees, things like ash and things like that, as they start opening up, then it's warm enough usually to plant a few out. So so the main bed, absolutely nothing done with it apart from dug over in the back end. Before I plant, about a fortnight before I plant, I'll give it a dressing of grow more. That's sort of 777 NPK levels. Anything that's got too much nitrogen in it will be detrimental to the plant. So so balanced feed is the way to go, really. Okay, Mick, next one. I did. I don't know whether you're aware of it, but glads don't really like growing in the same soil year on year. They get a bit of a build-up of disease in the ground. Now, years and years and years ago, there was a thing called Bazamid that you could fumigate your ground with. But obviously that's gone by the board with a lot of the chemicals and stuff, and probably quite rightly so. It was a bit dangerous stuff. But somebody put me onto this thing called Caliente mustard, which is like a green manure. But apparently this green manure, when you break the stems of it, it lets loose a sort of natural gas that fumigates the soil and helps keep the soil clear. So I thought we'd have a bit of an experiment with this. So that's what it was like after a few weeks. Next one, Mick, please. And that's what it looks like now. So it obviously hasn't coped very well with the winter. And apparently what I think's happened is that to get the best effect from it, it should have really been sown sort of early September time, middle of September at the latest. But then I've got glads still in the ground, and I don't lift them out until sort of mid-October, end of October. And then I planted the mustard seed. It germinated okay, but then the cold weather sort of knocked it back. So I don't think it's going to actually have a lot of effect. I'll give it a couple of months, sort of March and probably into April. I'll save that piece of ground for me last sowings of gladioli. I'll leave it till then, just see how it does pick up. But I've been having a route around in various sort of publications and online and things like that. And anybody that I've found that has tried it with gladioli, I'd always sown it while they've still got the glads in the ground, so that sort of they've probably already got a green covering by the time that they're actually lifting the corms out. So although they might make a bit of a hole in the green carpet when they do lift the corms out, the majority of it's still there and growing well and producing a good sort of cover crop before the harsh weather stops. So still a bit of work to do on that, but we'll just see how it goes. I just did it on about, well, there's probably about 2 meters worth there from the edge of the fence, just to see how it goes, and I'll report back when I see if there's any difference. If it works, it'll be an absolute boom, because there's all a lot been told us no, you know, sort of rotating crops around can be a nightmare if you've got a limited space. You know, it can be a right pain in the backside to try and sort of think where you're going to put stuff next time round. As I'm the membership secretary for our sort of allotment site, I have got a sort of secret weapon in the hold all sort of thing, and that is basically that when my plots are sort of worn out and done the time with Gladys, and we've got somebody that leaves the site, I'll take over their plot, and the new tenant can have my plot nicely dug over and ready to go, and I'll start on a fresh piece of ground. And it's amazing, really, just how different the glads grow on a bit of fresh ground. You can really tell the difference. So that's a work in progress, and I'll keep you informed on how that goes. Next one, Mick, please.
Good to know.
So things to be doing at this time of year. Well, before I actually plant any gladdies in the ground, those of you that sort of were listening in on mixed sessions last year, know I grow pretty much most of my gladioli from my own stock, from the cormlets, or wundlets as they're sometimes called. So things to be doing now really is getting ready for them to go in. They go in before the main crop of corms, and I grow all of them in all in pots. And over the years, I've sort of invested in these 30-litre heavy-duty, well, they're called tree pots, but they hold 30 litres of compost, and they're very hard wearing. So use them every year. So the first job to sort of do springtime is give them a wash out, which they've all had, and they're back in the greenhouse now, awaiting use. So they've all had a wash out with detergent, hot soapy water, and then I've got a weak bleach solution that I give them all a rinse with as well, just to sort of give them a bit of a sterilisation before I use them. I usually do about 40 of these pots a year. So there we are, just sitting nicely snug, awaiting the kick-off in the back of the greenhouse. Okay, Mick, thanks. That's what they like upside down. A few holes in the bottom to aid the drainage. Obviously, you don't want them getting waterlogged and things. If I had got access to a massive great polytunnel, I'd probably start them off anytime round about now, really. If you've got a warm greenhouse or a warm polytunnel, that extra bit of added warmth will get them growing now. But because I'm going to put them all out on not hard standing, but on some weed suppressant matting on my next door neighbour's garden, because he quite kindly lets me use that. I won't be starting these off till well, I've got it penciled in my diary for the 5th of March. I've got 25 bags of compost being delivered on the 4th of March. So if they arrive and the weather's fine, the 5th of March will be a nice planting day ready for the cormlets. So drainage holes in the bottom of the pot, just to make sure that because they're outside, they're not going to get too sodden and waterlogged. Thanks, Mick. Labels, you can get all them ready. Obviously, we've all been having it hammered into us not to use any sort of single-use plastics. Before I retired, about 3 months ago, I used to work for myself as a sort of maintenance gardener. I've done about 20 years of that. And one of the contracts I had was for a local plastics firm. They made sort of plastic trims for windows, caravans and things like that. And I was rooting around their premises, as you do, one day. and I came across these, and these are like little offcuts of one of the products they were making. They're about 6 inches long and about half an inch wide. So that's what's that? 15 centimeters and about by about a centimetre and a half. Absolutely perfect for garden labels. They're really sturdy, they're really hard wearing, and they're really strong. So I grabbed as many of those as I could carry. I've probably got enough that last me a couple of years. And I use those as the labels, and I've got a label printer which I just print off tapes with, and they sort of they'll last. Those labels will last me up 2 or 3 years. These are the ones I use for the main plot, where they're a bit more sort of prone to get kicked about and stamped on. So these are a bit bigger. But again, these are very hard wearing, these T-shaped labels. And I'll just print off some tapes, stick them on the panel at the end there, and that'll do me for the season. So no need to worry about sort of rain washing ink off or pencil off or anything like that. They really do a good job. Compost I use. This is what I use from my local sort of nursery. He does me a bit of a deal on it, and this is the stuff he used. It's Petersfield growing medium potting supreme. It's a sort of long-lasting potting compost. So basically, when I've planted my cornlets in it, it'll probably last from March through to about sort of end of July, even into August, before I need really to feed much again. The only thing wrong with it, it does dry out a little bit. But like most of the other stuff, it's got peat in it. So what we'll be using in years to come, I don't know. But at the moment, he's got no problem with supply. He's got plenty of this, and I've got it. The big downside this year, it's gone up by £2.50 a bag.
Wow.
Last year he was knocking it out at I think it was about £7.50 a bag, and I was getting it for £6. This year he said he can't do it for me for anything less than £8 a bag. So we'll have to sort of rethink things again for the future. I think, see if we can come up with an alternative solution. But it is good stuff. I've used it for about the last 8-9 years, and I've never had a problem with it. Cheers, mate. So that's my little printer. This is my wife bought me this for Christmas about 5 years ago. Absolute boom. It really does the job. You can print out different sizes. It'll go, you can get different coloured tapes if you wanted to sort of separate different sort of trials or anything like that. Really easy to use. And the replacement tapes you can get in anywhere, any sort of printers, Ryman's, places like that, or I'd recommend probably online, because that's where we tend to be cheapest. But it really does a good job. And I say all I do is type in the name of the variety I've got, print it off, stick it on those white labels or the yellow ones, and that's it for the year. They last really well.
What make is that, Nigel, please?
It's called a Brother. I don't know, did I send the picture on the side, Mick? What's the next slide? No, I didn't. Okay, go back to it then, Mick, please. It's a Brother printer, and the code number, it's a TZE231.
TZE231.
There we are.
Cheers.
There's the baby.
It's called the P Touch and all, ain't it, Nige?
That's it. Yeah, P Touch GL100.
Hey?
Brother and quite big in printing, are they?
Yeah, the actual model number, Colin, is P Touch GL100.
Got it there.
That's him. Yeah.
I can't see that. Right, thank you.
Okay, Nick. Thanks. Yeah, that's him.
Can you see it,
That's
Colin?
it. Yeah.
Colin, you own your point.
Okay, Mick. Right, so cornlet time. As I said, I grow mine in 30-litre pots, which might seem a bit sort of large and excessive to some of you, but I actually keep my own cormlets, and I keep the largest of my own cormlets. So whereas normally it would perhaps take a couple of years to get from a sort of a pea-sized cormlet up to a good flowering sized corm, yeah, like that one there. If I save the bigger ones, so sort of like that one or a bit further up, if I save them, I can get about 15 of those into a 30-litre pot. And at the end of the season, I'm harvesting 15 corms that are ready to go and will flower in the garden up to exhibition standards, which is what I want the next year, sort of thing. So I'm saving myself, a good year, if not two, of sort of growing time. The larger ones as well. Really, you can see they've got a sort of hard husk on them. The idea really before you plant them is to prepare them all by actually splitting that husk. You can roll them about in between your fingers until you hear a little crack, and then peel the husk off them, and all you're left with is a white sort of fleshy entity that is your cormlet, and it's ready to plant. I sit and do them in front of the TV while I'm watching the television and peel the skins off them. You can soak them in a mild solution of bleach, which will sort of almost melt away the husk, but I like to sort of handle every one of them and sort of peel the husk off so that I can make sure that what I'm planting is sound and healthy. I know Jeffrey's got some on order from I think it's the Ukraine, Jeffrey, isn't it? And I presume they'll come, and they'll be about sort of the size of a pea, so they'll probably take a good couple of years before you get any decent sort of flower on them. Okay, Nick, thanks. So what I'll do is there's my odds or my sheeting down on my next door neighbour's garden. I think I've said this before. My next door neighbour's called Reg. Everybody should have a Reg. He's brilliant. Couldn't care less about his garden as long as he can tinker with his tractors, his David Brown tractors in his garage. So he lets me have the garden. So I'll get all the pots will be ready. I'll get them all out, get the compost in them, give them a good watering. Probably a few days before I want to plant. And then next one, Mick, please.
So the photo there is early March outside.
Yeah, that if things go to plan this year, I'll be taking a sort of similar photo on the 5th of March.
Yeah. Excellent.
Nigel, quick question.
Yeah.
I've got some they're called tree sacks from the gardens, and they're shutting down. And I went and got some pots, and they're like a membrane and a plastic bottom. Could I put some cormlets in them?
It should be all right. Yeah, I mean,
pierce the bottoms. They're about a foot deep or a foot wide.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much the size of what these are,
Great.
Yeah, anything that's old compost, you can use, bucket, empty old metal bucket or something, as long as it's got some drainage in it.
Yeah, I've got loads of cormlets off this year.
Yeah,
great.
You'll be fine.
Cheers, Nigel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But as you can see, I'm a bit OCD with mine. I like them in nice straight lines and things like that. So this is what I was saying. This is about the spacing I will put them. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in there. They'll by the time they grow in, they will actually fill that bucket, and you'll have a job to get round in between them to sort of loosen the soil or anything like that. But basically space them out on the top, and then you can just poke them downwards with your finger. You're not going to damage them at all. Down to a depth of about 1.5 inches, 2 inches deep, and then cover them over, and just make sure that they're kept well watered all throughout the season, and they'll do the job on their own. Really, they don't take a lot of looking after. And as we've been saying over the past few weeks, with the sort of supply of corms being as it is, it is really the one way that I can guarantee that the varieties I want to grow are still going to be there for me to grow. Okay.
Nigel,
Yes,
at least, do you find squirrels are attracted to these, digging them up, or
not where I am, because I live in the middle of the housing estate.
Right.
The one thing one or two issues occasionally with cats. But no, not squirrels, and no rodent problems or anything like that. I mean, the fortunate thing is that you know, in the vicinity. Well, it's a sort of double-edged sword, really. The cats in the area keep the vermin down. They're also the ones that, you know, may occasionally decide, well, that's a nice pot of loose soil. Let's make a fantastic toilet, you know.
Yeah.
Do you dig your comets up end of season, Nigel? Or
Yeah.
leave them in?
Yeah,
You dig them up as normal?
up at the end of the season
Dig 'em up.
and cleaned off, and the pots are sort of put into store, and the compost is utilised elsewhere around the garden, you know.
Mick, can you go back to the last video, the last picture, please? Couple of questions there, Nigel. Is how deep will you plant them comets?
They'll go about 2 inches deep, Nigel.
Right, and also, will the roots go down to the bottom of the buckets?
Probably about 3/4 of the way down, yeah.
Oh.
They'll drag themselves down even further, and gladdies do have quite a long root run.
Okay.
So, well, I say quite a long root run. They're not sort of not looking like carrots and parsnips and things like that. But you know, I suppose I could get away with with them being about another 2 or 3 inches shallower pot. If you know what I mean.
Do you add any liquid feed during the season to them?
Yes, yeah, I will do. What I've got is I've got a water barrel on the corner of Reggie's shed, and I nip down the fields that are just round the back of us and gather a bit of sheep muck and put it in a mesh bag and support it on a stick above on the top of the barrel, and it sits in the water and it makes its own sort of liquid feed. And I give that perhaps 2 or 3 times a year. But say this compost got a good 2 or 3 months worth of sort of feed in it anyway. So so it, you know, it's that just the liquid sheep feed just tops it up a bit.
Thank you.
Okay, Mick. So I thought I'd treat you to one or two of the ones that I have actually decided to purchase this year. As I say, with the corn supplier situation being as it is, and nobody knowing sort of how things are going to go in the future, I thought, well, it might be advisable to stock up with a few new varieties just in case. One of the places I use is a place called Peter's Gladiolus Enterprises in Canada, and like Jeffrey was saying, when we were chatting before the actual session started, buying sort of plant material in from outside of your own country is an absolute nightmare. But these people at Peters, they've been very good to us over the years. They supply a phytosanitary certificate, which is basically DEFRA, our people, will take as sort of gospel that these plants have been grown in sort of good conditions and aren't diseased. One of the other things we can sometimes get hit with is VAT when it arrives into the UK. Now that very much depends on whether the customs and excise people pick up on the fact that there's a parcel with some bulk material in it or plant material. If it's only a small parcel, it sometimes gets straight through by post and you don't get clobbered for it. If it's a larger parcel, the chances are you'll get caught. And they base the VAT on the sort of value of the parcel. So Karen, who sends these out, Karen Peters, she's very good. So she always underestimates the value of the parcel. So you don't end up paying as much VAT as you might do if you pay for the actual fruit content sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's worth looking at. It's worth looking at if you can get a group of friends together and put in a group order. Because then postage and things like that, obviously postage from Canada is going to be quite expensive because they do come air mail as well. So you can sort of spread the cost of the postage between half a dozen of you. So that's what we've done this time. So this is one of the newer ones I'm going to have this time. My wife's very keen on red flowers. So I thought we'd give a few a try because I haven't really got any red glads in my collection much. Got a few purple ones. This is a new one called Energetic. It's a giant flowered one, so the florets on it should be a good sort of 5.5 inches, even 6 inches across at the bottom, and it should just taper up to the top. So we'll see how that one goes. So that's energetic. Okay, Nick. This is a smaller flowered one. This is called Donald Ray, and this is a pale pinky lavender. And as you can see, this has got the shape that we're really looking for, from sort of tight buds at the top to sort of buds that are only half open, and then all the way open down to the bottom. So, and that shows you sort of what sort of operation we've got in Canada. Back of them, we've got fields and fields of them. They're not exactly restricted for land like I am. Okay, Nick, thanks. Now then, yes, I'll have to go back on that first red I showed you. It wasn't energetic. It's called red. It's called deep red. Sorry, the first one. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Very, not exactly sort of inspiring, but it's called deep red. The next red, the long, that's Donald Ray, and this one's called energetic. And I'm hoping that this one will be a good sort of show flower. It's one of their new releases this time, so it's actually costing me about, well, I've actually bought what they call a unit, and a unit consists of 2 large corms, 2 medium corms, 2 small corms, and about 10 cormlets. So be enough corms there to give me an idea of whether it's any good, and if it is any good, there'll be enough cormlets there for me to sort of grow on, to sort of having up the sort of that variety for at least the next couple of years, sort of thing.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. Next one, thank you. Yeah, this is an older one that I've reinvested in with them. This one's called Mr. Chris. It's a small flowered one, sort of creamy, bit of a sort of lavender flush to it with a sort of yellowy cream centre. It's an older variety. It's probably about 15, 20 years old. In fact, I actually got best spike at it with it at our national show about, well, our lad was about 5 then, and he's 25 now. So 20, yeah, it'd be about 20 years ago, I got the best spike at our national show with it. So I've decided to have another bash with that. So we'll see what that one performs like. This one is one called Queen Mary. This is a North American one, but it has got the sort of the look of a sort of Dutch variety to it. The Dutch ones tend to be a little bit more plain petalled, a little bit less ruffling around the edges, which is no detriment really when you're showing them. The only thing that sort of the ruffling does add is a bit more strength to the petal, so they'll stand in the rain a bit more. But this one, Queen Mary, does make a very nice shape for it. So, so we're having a go with her as well. And this is the one that we, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about pheasant acre plants.
Yeah.
Said I'd ordered one off them and I couldn't remember what the name was. And this is the one I've ordered off them. It's called Raffles. And as you can see, this is it's a Dutch variety, but it has got the sort of more of an American look about it, with the sort of ruffling around the edges of the petals. And I was just drawn to it by the difference in the colour, really. Like I can't think of another lad that actually looks like that. So, so again, I've got 25 of that on order, and I've had a confirmation off them this morning that it'll be delivered somewhere between March and May, which isn't exactly helpful, I don't suppose, but you know, it'll be there when I want it. So
it's stunning. It's stunning.
Yeah, it looks all right.
Lovely colours.
And I was talking to the guy. He sent me an email earlier on in the week, and he thinks he's not confirmed, but he thinks he's got access to 1 or 2 more sort of Dutch varieties that used to appear in the show catalogues of show lads and people like that. But he hasn't actually listed them on his site yet. So it might be worth keeping, if you're interested, just keeping your eyes on that and seeing if anything sort of comes up. You're looking at varieties that have the prefix Flevo, F-L-E-V-O. So that's the area of Holland, Flevo land, where they're sort of bred and grown. There's a big white one called Flevo Eskimo that's very good. and another white one called Flevo Snow. And he's hoping to get sort of a few more varieties as well. So so that might be a little bit of a bonus that we weren't expecting really. Okay, Mick, thanks. Next one, not particularly a brilliant one, but I do like to sort of try and get every sort of colour range in what I'm growing. And blues and sort of this sort of mauvey colours are particularly difficult, but because they always tend to be a little bit less healthy than any of the others. I don't know why it is, whether it's a blue gene in there that's not particularly sort of a healthy gene or anything like that. But this is one called Sweet Blue, and it used to be around a couple of years ago, and then it disappeared from the catalogues. And then suddenly I just happened to be Googling one night gladiolus corms in the UK, and it came up with a supplier who was actually listing this Sweet Blue. So I thought, well, in for a penny, in for a pound, I'll order some. And I usually grow across my land in rows of 30 corms per variety. So I ordered 30 of them, and these actually came on Monday of this week. I opened the box, and of the 30, 10 of them were mouldy. The actual bags with the corms in felt damp. So 30% of them were mouldy. But I've noticed on the bottom of the sort of delivery note, it said, thank you for ordering from us. If you are happy with your purchase, please leave feedback on TripAdvisor or the equivalent, Trustpilot or something. So I actually got back in touch with them and said, thank you very much for my order, which arrived this morning. Please, I took some photos. Please note that sort of a large quantity of them have arrived and are mouldy and won't be able to use. I note from your correspondence that you would like a Trustpilot review. I don't feel this is appropriate at the moment, but I would like either a refund or replacements to for the damaged ones. And they came back within an hour. They came back and said, you shouldn't have had them sent out like that. We're very, very sorry. We'll send you replacements out. And the next day, I got another 30 arrive, absolutely perfect condition, nice dry bags, all wrapped up in sawdust, absolutely fantastic quality corms. So what happened to the first lot, I don't know. So you could knock them for the sort of the fact they'd sent that first lot out, but you certainly couldn't knock them on the customer service.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they'll perform really well, and we'll have some nice flowers off them.
How many do you grow a year, Nigel?
How many?
Yeah, altogether.
I've got a bit crackers this time, Paul.
Go on then.
Well, I've got 2 allotment plots, which are both 100 square meters, and I reckon I can get about 500 in one plot. And I have been swapping them over year by year. So one year I grow veg on one and glads on the other, and then swap them over. This time, because of this, as I said, this build up of disease and my master plan to sort of take over an unused plot somewhere on the site, I've decided to fill both of the plots with lads this time. So I'm
2,000.
I should be up to about 1,000, and then I've got my corn that's growing down at home in my pots there, and there's probably about, let's say, 40 pots of them with about 10 or 15 in each pot. So there'll be another 500 or 600 there. But that's just growing non-stop for next year and the year after.
You could supply your florist, couldn't you?
Well,
Send to the florist.
There's a florist lives around the corner, and she has to do off me every.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can't guarantee. Because you're growing tens of thousands, you can't say to her, right, you've got a wedding a week on Friday, I'll provide you with 50 white bloody because you won't have them; they'll all be orange or something. So what tends to happen if I've got any spares, I hand them out to the folks on the allotment or old folks that live around me, and neighbours and things like that.
Right.
I think that's it, Mick, isn't it? Oh, one more. Yes, right. Yeah. Oh, now this is really exciting me, this one. As a gladiolus judge, I'm not supposed to have a favourite colour. I'm supposed to just sort of be totally unbiased, and I'd like to think I am when I'm judging them. But I do like a yellow flower, I must admit. And I've got a contact that I correspond with that lives in the Czech Republic, and this is one of his seedlings. and by chance, I'll say by chance, there just happens to have been a packet of Comets of this one arrived in the UK, and they're currently in my possession. So I'm hoping that you know, not this year but next year, I'll grow them as Comets this year, and I'm hoping next year I'll have some, you know, cracking spikes of this one.
What's it called, Nigel?
At the moment, it's got the fantastic name of PS 1603.
PS 1603.
PS 1603. The guy's name's Peter. His surname begins with S. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And he hybridizes a few lads like I do, and this is one of his seedlings. So
Nice.
Nice.
Boston.
I think we're talking, you know, about how you could get seeds and stuff across borders and things like that. There's ways of doing it if you want to be a bit inventive. You've seen these old spy films where they have a gun inside a book. You know, a few pages out and put a gun inside a book and things like that. Well, it works for flat material as well, shall we say? So this book arrived on my doorstep, and with some bits and bobs of it, and it arrived back on his doorstep a few weeks later with some bits and bobs that I'd got for you know, we're not going to flood the world with sort of non-native invasive plants or anything like that. So, you know, it's nice to be able to sort of help each other out of it.
It is.
Good.
Any more, Mick, or is that it? Oh yeah, here we are. Oh yeah, this is another one. That one's come from the Czech Republic, the yellow one. The others came from coming in from Canada. There's a guy in America that also supplies a few. A guy called Alliman, lads, John Alliman. This is one of his. This is another small flowered one called Joe. That's just J-O. It's a sort of rosy pink one. I think it's one of those that it's never going, because of this sort of shade of it, it's never going to photograph brilliantly, but it can produce a very good flower. And about 10 years ago, when the British Gladiolus Society still used to have a trial garden, this one actually won the trials one year. So I'm hoping that it's held up over the years, and we'll give it a try. One more, Mick. And this one's called Michaela, and this is coming from the same place. Nice, sort of heavily ruffled white. And I think that's probably it, Mick, is it?
I think it is, Nigel, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there we are.
Yeah, right.
Cracking.
Excellent, Nigel.
Before you go, Nigel,
Yeah.
you mentioned about that you did like more or less a rough version of crop rotation with the glads to get them into fresh soil.
Yeah.
What do you reckon the period is that before you put them back into the same compost?
I reckon once every 3 or 4 years.
Right.
Can you remember that stuff that you could get called our milletops, which was
yeah club root?
Well, it basically it was a good sort of soil sort of cleaner upper, wasn't it? Really, I mean they flogged it for a couple of after they stopped using it on gardens, you could still get it as a patio cleaner as well. Where I think it's disappeared a bit now. I think it used to be made just up the road from us, and I think the guy, you know, was sort of, because of EU regulations and stuff like that, he was faced with a massive bill to get it licensed for what he thought it should be used for. So he decided not to bother anymore. So our milletops used to be quite a good thing to sort of water onto the ground to try and suppress any diseases. I wouldn't say clean them up completely, but you could suppress them a bit. And Jay's fluid, will pretty much do the same to a certain extent. But the best thing by far is just to not grow on the same soil year after year after year.
There's a Lockman shop down Colligate. Might have some, mate. Have you got any left, Mickey?
I got 2 bottles.
And they've now both got his name on them.
Graham's having it down Gloucester. He's already booked them up.
Yeah. I mean, it was good stuff. So
yeah, it was. I read it's made just the other side of Measham. I can't remember the name of the village or the thing, from coal mining spoil. and I was told that one of the basic raw ingredients had actually run out, so they couldn't make it to the specific formula anymore. Along with getting it registered with the EU as well, it's all, you know, conspired to shut them down, really. But I was cleaning my shed out a few months ago, and I came across a 5-litre bottle, a 5-litre tub of our Militox. I think the price was £9.75 or something on it, so you can tell how long it had been in the back of the shed.
Yeah.
It's one full one. It's about half full, so I've still got a bit of that up my sleeve.
Yeah,
but it's certainly good stuff.
The you know, just as a sort of general point, I have actually been quite sort of quite enthused about sort of how many places now have got forms in that are of different sort of, you know, cultivars that I haven't actually seen available before. So somebody's picking up the slack somewhere, you know, and there is stuff out there. Good. There's been 1 or 2 pictures on the BGS Facebook page. I think one appeared yesterday, Mick. I don't know whether you saw it. The guy up in Hartlepool, Kevin Tritchler, he bought a load of Cream Perfection, and the quality of the corns looked fantastic. And they were from Parker's, so you know, and that's a really good show variety. So hopefully there'll be plenty out there for people to have a crack at. Good. Keep them interested. Yeah. Excellent, Nigel. No worries. Thank you, sir. Okay. Right, so listen, ice eggs are a rare phenomenon that occurs when ice is rolled over by wind and water. I forget where that was. I should have wrote that down, but it just looks weird, do it? See somebody like that on the beach.
That's pebbles.
Right, had to get me a sander from Screwfix for my raised bed. 20 quid. Perfect. So there's my manager. That's what I've started there. Yes, it works. Done half of the chap. Luckily, when I started this, we got it dry for 3 days, 4 days, I think it was. So that's the front done. Perfect. So that's the top done as well, and the front. Now, if you remember when I had the timber, Andy got me this from whatever it was, fence panel place. But they get him these two. Sorry?
It was Lawnwood, Mick.
Good. Lawnwood, that's it. Cheers, Andy. I know somebody wrote it down. No matter anyway. But they get him these two. That's a clear one, obviously, and that's olive green. Olive green. So I mixed them together and just tested him on there. Obviously, this is the first coating, as you can see on there. So yeah, this is going to work out well. Obviously, being green, because there is a few colours about. And Mrs. was approved as well, and the hound. So 3 of us happy. And I've obviously done the top and this. This is the second coat I was doing, and I just bloody ran out. So I had to go and get another 2. And them was only 6 quid for them 2, which is perfect. So let's finish that. So that's top of sides. This was we've got a few talks coming up again. I had to get some spent coffee grounds bagged up ready. And this is a bag I had for about a month. It was behind the sacks which are on the raised beds, top of the garden, which was all the ingredients that I was collecting to go in the raised bed. And this one's right at the back, going mouldy. All I do is rub the lumps out by hand, and it just breaks them up again. I'm still okay. That is a good mould. So then I just bag them up ready. They're all dry. And from the last drop of rain we had, if you remember when I had my back lawn done, and the slabs that I got off, which was nice and clean, I mean there's no backing of cement or nothing on. So them was on there for Paul. So we'd had a couple of dry days, and these were nice and dry. I got a spare hour, so I did 3 trips down to Paul's. I think it was
Thank you very much.
5 in one go. So that's all ready for Paul. Then I swept the crap away for him for when he comes back. Right, my pot leaks in the greenhouse. Still at 10 or 50 degrees. Kept at. My 2 large onions, spares right off Nick when he came up, or when we met down Gloucester at Graham's place. 6 onions I had off Dave Chesterfield, and these are me blanch. Just lift the collars up to show you that we get a nice white blanch, and that leaf there is going. So a close up, as you can see, he's nice and green, so he's still got a bit of liveliness in him. He's drying out, so I'm going to take him off. I'll take him off straight down to the base of the leaf, rip him out there. So now they're more nice and clean, about the same. Elephant rock in Iceland. I've said this a couple of times, but it's that's weird, isn't it? Love it. Paul,
Hello, Mick.
what's he talking about?
I don't know.
You're going on about Nigel with his 8,000 gladdies. How many peppers are we doing? Chilli.
Right, that's not a pepper, that's an onion.
Is it?
Yeah, I did a trial on some onion seeds while I did my chili peppers.
Oh,
I had some off Jimmy Checkit. He gave me some large onion seeds. I don't know what strain now. I'm late going in, but I did that for, was it 6 days, and most of them are sprouting. And now they're in the box now. Them 2, they are long chilies. Put so many in. They popped up, so I potted them on. The one's a bit smaller, but that one's doing all right. Next one, Mick. That is I've got my list in front of me. That is an orange Harabino.
yeah.
First one ever grown that. So that's interesting. Another hot one for you to try. That's the same one, is it? Yeah, same one. And then my 3 long chilies. I've just got them out and I'll potted them on. Probably a bit early potting them on, but I've got to move them on. Altogether, I've got 290, hopefully, chilies. I've checked one today. No, they're in the dining room on the propagator.
Good dining room.
There's a gas water up by the fire, little gas fire, but and they got the heat below. And today, last week I bought some out of Lidl, Caspian jalapenos red. They got like white crackling. I sent a link to Scott, and I put them in last Sunday in some water. Then by Wednesday, I got them out and I put them in the compost. I've looked today, one's up already. Not they seen that picture until late. I know.
How many different varieties you got, Paul?
21 this year. 21. I'll read them off to you. Dorset Naga Red, Dorset Naga Orange, Scorpion Red, Carolina Reaper, Caramel Scorpion, Fatsia Jigsaw, Harabino Chocolate, Naga Fire, Bubblegum, I can't pronounce it, Wood Joker, White Naga, Peach Scorpion, Harabino Orange, Jamaican Red, Armageddon, Jalapeno, Chantilly, Bird's Eye Chili, Long Eye Chili, Satan's Kiss, Jalapeno. That's a lot. 290 seeds altogether.
There's a guy on YouTube, if you have a look, his name's Sean. He's called Chilli Chump.
Chili Chump, I've heard of him.
Chilli Chump, he grows something.
Because some of the seeds are old, I thought I'll whack them all in. Hopefully they will come up. If they do come up, I'm in trouble. Because there's rooks.
Well, once they've germinated, do you have to keep them at a certain temperature? Or does
between 8. I'll do mine between 18 and 20.
So even when they've germinated?
Yeah, they go under lights then. That box you can see there is normally covered over plastic. I ain't got a lid for it. I put a plastic bag over, and the temperature it gets, they're all popping up there. There's a few popped up since.
I mean, my greenhouse, the heater's been turned off now because it's been costing too much. But they're just on a heated propagator, and they've come up,
Put them inside.
Yeah, I think Jim
Mine
really
are
want
all
them all over
inside.
the windows.
Mine are all inside, and that. There's
But
20
they are.
right.
I did put a plastic bag over them anyway, and that
That's
has, it's
that's
all
a
wet
seat.
inside. So yeah.
That's a seed trade off Jason last year. He gave it me. I think there's 16 trays in there, and I've got another one.
Have you got grow lights on, Paul?
Not on that one at the moment, but probably tomorrow I'll switch the lights on that one. Underneath is a box, a polystyrene box I made from. Next time I'll do a video or a talk, I'll put it on. I made it out of fish boxes from the chippy and glued them all together
on the
and put a
bottom.
light bulb in. It's just underneath. You just about to see it. That's homemade. I got 3 of them. One sitting in the shed, and that was a lovely bottle of wine. But last year, I don't drink wine normally.
Is that what you chip the seeds in?
Yeah, that's nice. No, I put the seeds in. It's no cold tea. I mixed it today, and I've sprayed it. I put some bananas because I like bananas. Mrs. Get them out the entry. They're too cold. Oh, I've got how many got in the entry? I went 6. Bring them in the house. Then I was 1 in the bedroom, 1 up the stairs, 1 living room, and there's 2 in the dining room. And they're growing quite well.
Jeffrey's got his hand up, Paul.
And then my spindly ones, I think they, I can't remember what their name was. They're just germinating, but I shouldn't have moved them, but hopefully I'll pick up them in the light box at the moment. So I just love growing them, to be honest.
We've realised that, Paul.
This weekend I brought some more seeds. I brought some daily seeds, some more tomato seeds, some sprouts. I brought some Evesham sprouts. Anybody recognise them? Any good?
What sort?
Evesham.
F1s. Oh,
Yeah.
They're good. I'm gonna have a go at some sprouts this year. 50 pence from Wilco.
Good old variety, that is.
50 pence, man.
Take them back.
And that's my little light box, but normally it's full. But at the moment, them ones you can see, nothing in them, onion seeds in there. Then started to germinate. And them are my chilies. But hopefully, a couple of weeks' time, that'll be full. And I'll post some more pictures on for Mick. And that's me.
Paul, can I ask you a
Hello.
question?
Hello, Nigel.
How do you have when you've sort of chitted your seeds just by having them in a tray of water or on a damp cloth or something?
It's just a
how do you avoid
Chinese
damaging them when you move them into potting on?
little pair of tweezers.
Right.
It's little Chinese, so we get from Chinese kitchen roll. Just some hot water or boiling water. I put boiling water, it works. And it cools down, and I keep checking the water level up. And I'm normally about 5 days, 6 days, I take them out. And you can see some start to you can see a little top come out.
Yeah.
And then I'll just get them out, tweeze them in compost, and just leave them into strays and just put a bit of compost on top, and that's it.
Lovely. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
It does work.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you, Nigel.
Jeffrey's got his hand up, mate.
Just come in. Anybody got a question?
Yeah, you've got one more variety coming your way. I posted it Thursday. It's the
Have you?
Marley.
Bob Marley. Oh, Jeffrey. I want to get a kiss. Thank you very
I
much.
got it from Spain last week, so I posted it straight onto you.
Oh, thank you very much, Joe. Jeffrey. You're a
welcome.
star, man. That's what I'm after. Yeah, thank you, mate.
Jeffrey, did you put a stamp on?
No, but I licked the envelope.
Good man.
COVID.
Good luck.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Any more questions for Paul while we got him? He'll keep us up to date in a row. Cheers, Paul.
will.
I don't
Thank
know
you.
how you process so many when you pick the fruits, mate. It's beyond me.
I got all these here. They're on my list.
You
I
get
had
too
when I
excited,
picked
Colin.
up last time I picked my fruits off me this year's last year's ago. The 2nd of December, and I think it was 7 or 9 pound of fruit. I weighed them all.
It's me.
The 2nd of December, and they're still growing in the tunnel. We had frosts.
Yeah.
I went down 2 weeks ago. I was going down today to cut them all back and get them out. They're absolutely black, but you can still smell. Yeah, when you're walking really spicy, just off the plants, the peppery smell. That's a good clean out.
You should be aphid free then.
Yeah, definitely. It knocks it again. Oh, guess what? It's just when you're walking.
Cheers, Paul, man.
Thank you, Mick.
Yeah, mate.
225 million year old petrified opal tree trunk located in Arizona. petrified. I'll be petrified if I look like that. It's weird, isn't it? Nature. Love it. Oh, worm wheel. Now I've got to escape and go on to there. Where am I? Last week's worm wheel was Kathy. One last week since she got a fish hydrolysate or liquid fish. Right, everybody feeling lucky?
Got my pants on.
Come on.
Good.
Neil hands.
Neil.
Oh, yeah, he's got it. Well done, Neil, man. I'll be in touch with you. Right, let's get rid of that. Full screen. Right, going through the catalogues. Now this is in the Sun newspaper. I think it's on don't matter what day it was. Well, I saw this chap, and this is in bloom all spring and all summer. So I thought he'll look good in the back and the middle of my raised bed. So I ordered one of him. I don't want to wait for stuff to grow. I want it. Right, dry, nice morning. He ain't put his washing out yet, so I'm going out there quick, and I'm going to do this end. So I've got all my bits out ready, all rubbed down, cleaned off, swept off with a broom, started that in, done in, and then I left him about 4 hours, then get it another coat. So he had his second coat as well. Right, next door down to us, this has been like this now for about 5 or 6 years. When the idea kicked the bucket, obviously the sun was still about, with the summer stopping him flogging the house, and when he comes back, I've got to rack his brains, see what's going on, because the state of everything is collapsing, as you can see there. We had to renew the fence other side and this side because we was getting the howl. But they'd only go down to about there. Well, that's all I would go down. So we could afford at the time. So when this collapsed, the weight of that edge in there collapsed the bloody fence, as you can see. I then put this up just for the hound. But now there's bloody cats over there. The hound jumps up and look over. So I want to cover this lot. Because it goes all the way down. And it can get her head over there and look.
Is the house empty, mate?
Yeah.
Bloody
He's
hell.
coming back soon. He's had cancer, but he's supposed to have the all clear.
Right.
But I mean, it's a Boston Garden.
What a shame. Yeah.
The size of it, because that's detached.
Yeah.
Because most of them down our street, we had terraced houses before our semi was built. Then there's this detached, and then the terraced houses all the way down. I think there's one more detached. But the land they've got is superb. So that's stapled to the timber, and that's worked actually. Rosie ain't jumped up or nothing. So
there was ivy coming through on that fence panel.
what's that, mate?
There's ivy coming through on the fence panel.
Yeah. I've been spraying it higher up. That's the job did. Right, 2 talks last week. There's one Wednesday and one on Thursday. This one was Embleton Village Hall near Droit, which was this year. This is right in the sticks, meaning quaint little village. When I got in there, there was a Boston group, coffee and homemade cake. When I got in, that was what greeted me. I thought this is going to go down well, and they got a good crowd. And then cake, as you can see, them all bloody aging cake. And then I did the Q&A at the end, finished that lot, and they got the cake out of here. We had another cuppa, but that'll take some beating. Excellent night. and that was a full house when we did start up. And I had to bring 2 home as well.
Oh man, that looks nice.
I've been anyway. It was beautiful.
Ruble.
No, I did tell me, but the taste buds was going in. Right, next morning, this Thursday morning, another delivery, which was another raised beds again. These are from Varieties.com, as you can see on there. Them expensive, but I need them. First time we've ever had money for, well, ever. Luckily for the mother-in-law, obviously pet's money, but so that's why I've got 3 of these. Money's no problem at the moment for me, until I've got my full plot, which ain't fair off. But these are nice and solid. They're going to last moons. Them are the corners, and they just clip together, which is perfect. Then that base goes in the bottom. Them are the legs that go in there once you've got them, whenever you want to position them. So I've got 3 of them. So them are down there. Them will be for eating veg down there. Right, to the other end. I missed the day. I was a bit late, and they put the bloody drawers out on the washing line next door the other day, so I couldn't stand. So the next morning, early again, I rubbed this down, and that's my first wallop, as you can see. Right, a bit late this year doing my eating leeks. I do these for, well, I was to do one for myself, one for a mate over the road, because I ain't got a greenhouse, and then the rest for the bring and buy in June for our gardening club. Musselburgh leek, good as anything. Been using these for moons. Decent pots. So I'm doing 4 lots here. Obviously multi-purpose compost. 3 litre pots. Perfect. So I've opened a bag of clover there. Obviously because of the compaction where there might be some lumps in. So I'm just rubbing the compost out by 2 hands, breaking it up, so it's nice and flyable. And then I'm using me vermiculite as well, which I do, and mix that. So this is the mix I use for everything, unless it's my own compost. Drainage holes are covered on the bottom because they are quite large holes, and I'm moving these about. I don't want the compost dropping through. I mean the roots will grow through these anyway, so they'll be alright. So it's just filling it up. I'll put it in the bag itself, and there's no when I'm filling it up, there's no waste. I'm not losing it like if I was filling it up on a wall or something. When they are filled, they're patted down, and that drops on its own. So that's just the weight of me dropping them down. Obviously, leek and Musselburgh, that's all I need to put in, and the date will go in later on. So them 4 filled. Now these September 217, these will still be okay. Leek and onion seed was quite a few veg seed that lasts for a while. That's just to show that it's sparingly sown, exactly the same as if I was doing carrots in tubs. And then this water has been in the warm end of the greenhouse, so it's not a chill. It is nice and not warm, but it ain't bloody cold. Obviously, if it is a dry day, I'll do it outside, because I use this wall as a workbench, which is ideal for me, because I ain't got room in the greenhouse yet. I've still got to clean this out. Right, Lee Samuel sent me some seeds. He's a good lad. 246 seeds. These are heavy pepper, so you can see they're going in there. 711 grams, 1 pound, 0.5, whatever. So the world record is 1.10 ounce. So he ain't far off. And he sent me 246, 6 of them. So Paul, you can have one of them. Andy Hours, you can have one. Paul Davies, you can have one. Mark Robinson, you can have one as well. And if they all come, then
Mick,
yes.
You know your leeks. Do you put them in the cold end of the greenhouse or the warm end?
Cold end.
Cold end. I might do some leeks. I'll get some leeks. Mrs. wants some leeks. I said I want some leeks this year.
Oh,
Okay, I forgot him the weekend. I was in Walko's.
yeah, I was excited. You saw a bloody pepper packet.
I stand there ages looking.
Oh, I've got loads of leek seeds. Send me your address and I'll send you a packet.
Okay, Chuck. Thank you.
All right.
Cheers.
So same again. When I have placed them in, I top dress with the vermiculite, not compost. And these, if it's small seed. So I do that with my peppers as well. So that's the warm end of the greenhouse, just to put them in. Now I've cleaned out the cold end, which was full of bloody rubbish, and now out there. But these are on in here just for the one night for me to clear out. And they obviously my propagator, which is still switched on. So my pepper pot, little pepper pot goes in there.
Shit.
This thing, I've crossed the name off. What did I cross it off? I've put it
You've
off.
been in my back garden again here.
And where it was as well. But this dies by self-combustion. Found it on the high-rise, Peru and Bolivia. It only shoots once in its life. Well, I think it takes about 50 years.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
fancy having one of them in the back garden. Gordon,
I might get one.
yeah, free. And next speaker,
Yes, Nick.
good man.
Right, this was something I found on an Instagram post. It's in Denmark, and that's how they do allotments over there. Instead of the square plots like we have, they have these.
Seen that before. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, me.
So nice.
Cracking.
Look at that one. You could, well, all of them. You could
Live in
there.
there. I would.
It's like a holiday home, innit?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Right, this is the comparison. Every time I sowed anything, I sowed it 3 pots of multi-purpose compost and then 3 pots of compost from my own garden. So you can see the difference. The bottom, everything germinates in the multi-purpose, and then the other ones, only one germinates. And that's the self-made compost. And these are onions from big onions from John Salisbury. Same again. The only 2. These are beetroot, giant beetroots I got. 2 have germinated in the multi-purpose, and in the others, nothing has germinated. This is everything in green pots is in compost I have made myself. So you can see all kind of other things sprouting as well, which shouldn't be there. And the other end is the same, is a multi-purpose. So no, the same again, less activity in the multi-purpose. But here, it's the same. These are leeks from the seeds I grew myself. So they were leeks I planted last winter from good long organic leeks, but with long chunks of white. So I said I'll put them back for seed to see what happens. Got loads of seed, just sprinkle them about, and 6 pots are multi-purpose, and the other 3 pots are own compost. So what the difference is, I don't know. But like here, the only thing I can think about is maybe leeks need a stronger brew to germinate, and or don't mind a stronger brew to germinate, and the other plants don't like a stronger brew.
That's why we trial.
Yep, and this is spinach to plant out soon. And the left-hand side is the multi-purpose. The right-hand side is the self-made compost. So there's not a lot of difference there either.
No, right.
Cauliflowers, same. On the green pots is the self-made compost. The black pot is the multi-purpose. So I don't think there's lots of difference there. But then again, that is a vegetable that likes a lot of muck.
Yeah.
So I think really the thing is, if they like a lot a strong brew, like you say, or not. That's the only conclusion I can come to.
Mm.
But
Jeffrey,
yeah,
I think there's one thing to remember with seedlings. They'll grow in sand. They'll grow in anything, germinate, as long as you got some warmth. They don't really need any nutrients at that stage. It's like when you do paper towel or anything to germinate, they'll keep growing and growing and growing. The seed, all seed has got enough energy for the first week without any medium at all. I think a true reflection would be when you pot them on the next time.
I'm going to put them on. The green tubs there is the self-made compost, so they're going into self-made compost again, and then the others are going to be split half in self-made compost and half in the multi-purpose again.
Yeah, I
so
think
you can see kind of a difference there.
I think nature looks after itself for the first few days of germination. It's the same with eggs or anything like that. If you hatch eggs, you know that it'll have enough nutrients for the chick or whatever for a couple of days before you need to introduce anything.
Yeah, that's why I left the seed heads on the onions, but I don't know if the other onions are in there as well. The normal eating onion, I don't remember. Yeah, go make. I don't know if there's another one. That's something I found on Facebook today. Just sent it to me because he likes to grow blueberries, and it's 9 reasons or tips for a better harvest for blueberries.
Yeah, I'd look at this afternoon if anybody's got blueberries. It's worth a nose. Rural sprout. Jeffrey, you'll get about, don't you?
He does, man. He's a king of Belgium.
Not anymore.
No.
With Corona, it's cancelled for this year again, so that's going to be 3 years. 3 years on the trot, nothing.
He's still the king.
Yeah.
Cheers, Jeffrey.
No
Jeff.
problem.
Cheers, Jeff.
Good man. Right, for our trading sheds, I have to use bags for fertiliser and stuff. And this is the tank at Briley Hill. This is where I get my stuff from. So I had to also ask them for bags for our spent mushroom compost and worm cast. But these are the clear bags I get. Them are loaded up to 3 kilo of fertilisers, which we sell loose, and them either 1 kilo or half a kilo bags. But them cheap enough, and they've sent me a price now for the others, the other compost. So it's not just serving the shed; you have to look after everything. Right, I was running out of me mycorrhizal fungi for me talks and flogging them in me bits. So I've got to open another bag up and weigh that out. Nice sunny day, so top of the garden, working me waste diet again. There's me mic. Small scales, these bags, 400 gram, which is there. It's usually about this is 500 mil. Just about goes in there, as you can see there. So that goes on first, and then the mic goes in. Once I've done this lot, I'll then put elastic bands on them, and then they go back in the empty bag. That's put in the garage with all the rest of the goodies. And them bands are in the ball from Wilco. Keep the sunlight off them, and they'll last for moons. That'll go back in the...
Is it still the same price, Mick?
Yes, mate.
It is, same price, thank you.
Yeah. This is my talk on the Thursday. This was Roundy Green, Horticultural Society, near to Alf Church in Brum, although it's closer to Reddit when I googled it. This is another one way out in the sticks, proper village, quite nice, not really nice, going through. Jill Barrett was the program secretary and also a Zoomer. I should have recognised the name when it comes on the word wheel. When it told me, I thought, it's it. And then my brain clicked into gear. But it was good to meet up with Jill. This was on par with the talk the day before at Wimbledon. The hall has all the mod cons, as you can see. It's a good size hall. And they've got everything, projector, lights, stage. Obviously there's a stage and a huge screen for the Boston place. Another good crowd, making it a good night. Plus I had, so that's 2 good nights, flogging me stuff as well, me goods. I think this was the best talk I've been to where I've flogged 4 of my books in one night. Jill has already booked me up for again for next year. So I must have been good. But good to meet up, Jill. Always nice to meet the troops. And this was on their notice board as you go through the main drag into the hall. So they have more going on than we do around here. Must be a great setup, because I know at the back they've got gardens as well. But hopefully next time get some photos. Right, my little chap come in the post. This is me willow, and the grafting on it. This is the first thing I've had where the grafting is on the top. Most of the grafting is on the bottom of something. But obviously it's a standard. So that went in the greenhouse, and he had a nice waiter in as well as a pick me up until I can get the chap out. Mentioned before, I think we got a rain all week on and off, which in the sense we ain't going to get frost. So when I do get a chance, he's going out. That was from ugarden.com. I've had quite a bit of stuff off them now. This is their catalogue, because obviously when you send for someone, they send you another catalogue. Of course, you start looking through again, don't you? The missus saw these.
What's that?
There ain't much you get this blue. Or Corey Dallas. Or read through them. So I thought, go on then. So I've sent for them as well. And these freesias, which the missus likes anyway. These are fragrant, so something else. Right, there's only this back drop to do. So we got a nice clear day again, a bit of sun, as you can see. Makes a bloody change. There's Rosie's rat and a bit of wood. Good, but this was rubbed down on the morning, had his first coat. And then this is the last coat. This was later on in the afternoon. So that's that lot done now. And the hounds last week, we noticed 2 weeks ago started barking at the moon. It was the first time I'd ever seen it. Now was alright with that. But now it just looks up to the sky. And it starts barking, and I put it on one of the dog groups in our local area. And somebody else's dog does it as well. And it don't bark, but just looks up to the heavens as though that they can hear something. But we've been told there is military aircraft, probably American, but they're that high, you can't see them. But
they can hear them.
They can hear them.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on, they're all working out. Right, my eggshells, which if you remember last week, I dried them off in the microwave. I then crushed them in a thick, with my hands in a thick plastic bag, and then put them in the grinder. And that's what they come out like.
Wow.
So I want them to go in my compost heap. We'll come on to that next week, because I ain't had time this week. I was flogging these at Lidl last week, so I had one. Squirrel proof. Although our squirrel would be SAS, he'll walk off with it. He's probably got pliers and he'll walk off there. But this
You
one.
lift the lid off, Mick.
Eh?
You lift the lid off them.
I bloody well. I've turned it underneath.
Why are we down?
Because the last one was right up against this, meaning we're at level. So I put a bamboo cane, wedge that right in, so it comes out that side, which is a bit solid. And then it'll obviously come away from it, so it does swing. So it's a bit better for the birds. Rose is just getting used to it now. not to them birds, them goodies. But got to look after the chaps. And while we're on that one, that rose has been out all winter. Right, they're going straight in. Yeah. Right, this is me pink blueberry. If you remember, I had this come last week. So I've got to get a deeper pot and wider, obviously. Take them in. Ericaceous compost. Good decent pot. Bit of paper in the bottom again. Compost ready. Now with all me fruit trees, don't matter what they am, I like a bit of grub under them. I eat manure. So this is old goat manure, dried obviously. But it is solid. So I'll bung it down, fold it over and then smack it with a lump hammer. Because I want to get smaller lumps. Smaller the better. That's the smallest I got, that lot. That'll do. Then I'm going to help it out with boiling water. Just supple it up a bit more even. And then after about half hour, I then drain that. That's into me watering can, which I'm going to water my compost with. I'll do that again next week if I can do it. If I can fit that in, I ain't done that for a while. So all I've got on the bottom then is my manure. So that's another feed going into me compost. Well, that's better now. That's going straight in. So I got a good bit of brew under them. The pot's going in. And because he is off skew again, I'm going to put him in upright. But the pot's off skew, if that makes sense. But he is level with the top of that. Or it will be once we start off. This one is called a pink sapphire. So there I've got him in. And I've pressed down on the sides, compacting all the compost down there. And take him out. Get him out of the pot itself. And bung him in. So he is now in upright. Then firm him in upright again. Once again, firm that compost around there. Give him a nice watering. Leave him for 10 minutes, then water him again. Another 10 minutes, then water him again until he starts coming out of the bottom. Right, we'll go back on that one. That chap here, which was at the bottom of the left-hand garden, he was buried in the ground, and I took him up to nick some more ground. But looking at him while I've finished this one, there was a branch there which is rubbing against this one, so which I don't want it. Anything rubbing, I should take the weakest one out, as with anything, fruit tree, whatever. So they took it off there, and now there's air movement around everything. Oh, Colin, are you ready, sir?
Just about, mate. Just a few quick random photos. Planting some lilies around my new area amongst my roses. I think I'll put 27 in all round the right angle you'll see in the next picture. Planting them quite deep. I've got a rose lilies, all round that right angle there. So I'm hoping that it'll. I shall put some gladioli in there as well, with some other, and it should make all come together and make a nice show. I hope. Fingers crossed.
Good to hear, Colin.
Hey.
Good to hear, Gladys.
Yeah. Yes, I should put them in either side of these lilies and in front as well. So, well, I've got plenty coming, so I should just bung them in and let them take a chance. There you go. I bought these. I think I had 27 from Hart's Nursery, and they were brilliant quality, superb. Worked out about. I think it worked out about 85. About £1 a bulb, I think, by the time I got the postage. But they're very good quality. So I'm hoping for good things. If I can keep the lily beetle at bay.
Yeah.
We'll see. It is. I don't know if you can help me out here. I think I might have made a schoolboy error here. These are two grapevines that I planted in, I think it was September, October of last year, and I'm asking for some advice. I don't know whether I haven't planted them deep enough, because there you can see the rootstock, and I was worried because there's no sign of growth whatsoever on them, and I think I might have messed them up by not planting them deep enough. I don't know what other people think. Should I be seeing any growth on?
It's early yet.
Is it?
I think that where the nodule thing is, I think that needs to be just above the ground.
So that's
well, the root stock thingy.
Yeah.
That nodule, whatever it is.
How old is it, Colin?
Label.
Sorry, Nigel.
How old is it?
Well, I bought them. Since I put it in the ground?
Yeah.
I put them in sort of September, October last year.
I'd do what Suzanne says and plant it just above the where the wood is, like.
Because I got a grape last year, and it said on it, put it literally just above the ground.
Yeah.
I thought I'd made a reasonable job of it at the time, planting and done everything. And then I went up and checked them out last week, and blimey, they look high. And then I thought, yeah, and I agree. I think I probably should have put them a bit deeper.
Have you bought that from a nursery? Have you recently?
In the end of last year, yeah, I bought two. There's one on the next picture as well.
And had it only got one or two rods coming off?
It had only got the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think while it's dormant now, I'd do it now while it's dormant.
Yeah.
It's still early.
So when
Still going to be established, isn't he? He's gone in a bit.
When should you expect to see some sign of growth?
Well, I think
I reckon about at least another 6 weeks.
All right. Okay.
It depends how warm it is, really.
Yeah.
I mean, nephew's got exactly the same problem, and I told him it's too cold for him to start growing at the moment.
Yeah.
The roots will be going, but the top bits won't.
Yeah. Spring, probably.
It will take 3 years before you get decent grapes.
Still winter, don't forget.
Yeah, I'm just. I know it's going to take some time, and probably, I probably won't see it, but I'm just concerned that if they're going to start growing in 6 weeks, so I'm fine. I'm happy with that. I was just worried that I hadn't planted them deep enough. Looking at that, if you have a look at the next picture, Mick, please.
Yeah, just to while I'm on that one, I'd leave that as it is and just get a deep pot, slice it open, and put the pot round him.
All right.
I wouldn't disturb that root in there.
Yeah, good thinking.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Would you put soil in the pot?
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, there's another one, but that doesn't look. That looks a little bit deeper. Well, once again, there's no. You see these two nodes here, just above the label, one to the right, one to the left.
Yeah.
That's not new growth there.
Colin Young and excited. We're still in winter, don't forget.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, I shall put a pot round as you suggest, and just leave them for a couple of months and just see. I've got 2 chances, haven't they?
When you planted them out, Colin, you planted them the same up to the soil level, didn't you? On the stem.
Well, yes. I mean, there was a good root structure, and I put all the roots down into the ground as essentially. I'm sure I must have planted them as they came in the pot, because
I'm wondering if that's an older plant, and that big knob part is where there's more than one rod's come off, and they've just cut it back to one rod.
Yeah. Okay.
That might be, yeah, there might be. You might be right because there looks a lot of growth there, doesn't there, on the left, or room for growth. I can't remember where I got them actually.
That's an older cutting, that is. That's an older plant. It's been cut back.
Yeah, because mine was green.
Cut back
It's
to
probably
just one
2
rod.
years old, that is.
Yeah.
Really?
I think it is. So I think you might be all right leaving it like that, Colin. If that's an older plant, where the knuckle is part, there'd probably been 1 or 2 more branches come off there, and they've chopped them off and just left it down to the one.
All right. All right. All right. Well, we'll leave them as it is. I will put a pot round and just for a bit of protection on them, and I'll report back in 6 to 8 weeks.
Good man.
Fingers crossed again for them. Oh, here you are. This is another opportune purchase off Facebook. I've got several of these for sale. If anybody wants one, I can send them some. Next picture, Mick, please. I bought all them. There must be, I think there's about 35, nearly 40 of them altogether. Tomato halo pots, some round, some square. Picked them up ever so cheap, virtually for nothing off Facebook towards the end of last year. I thought I'll have them off a little Polish chap was selling it. So I went and fetched them, and I thought, well, I'll sell them in the spring. But if anybody wants any, they're welcome to. They're worth £1 a piece, aren't they?
Yeah, bloody hell. Good for tomatoes, then.
Yeah, and cannabis.
Yeah, cannabis.
Cucumbers.
Don't tempt me, Alan.
There's money in it,
How
Colin.
would you know?
Oh, I saying.
Colin, there's your pot for your first grape.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they're good deep pots. They are. I used to put my leeks in them, but yeah. There's some sweet peas I've got going. They look quite nice, sturdy.
Got the sun out there, Colin.
Eh?
You got the sun out there, Gordon.
Yeah. Spencer variety though. I've got to clean that bloody greenhouse to look all day. There's my broad beans coming along. These are me leeks. Now they don't look very well, do they?
All right.
I've sprayed them and fed them and talked to them, but they don't look very well to me. There looks a bit of a virus.
Looks like you got thrip on them.
Well, I've sprayed, Nick. I don't know whether to. Oh dear, I don't know.
Keep spraying every 7 days.
Yeah. You think they'll grow out of it and recover?
Yeah, you should keep on top of it. Once you've got it, it's a bit of a problem. But if you spray every sort of 7 days, they should come clean. Just have a look at your centre flutes as they come up through. And when you spray, make sure you find mist down into the middle, because that's where the thrip's going to be. They'll be hatching. They'll be injecting their eggs into the bottom of the plant.
What, at this time of the year now?
Say again.
Now at this time of year, yeah.
Yeah. Spray now. Yeah.
Right. I'll go and give them another.
Thrip or red spider mite will be more dominant when it gets warmer.
Yeah.
You won't get it when it's cold.
Right.
Forget the pot leeks. There's a few varieties that have got a virus in them, but they do outgrow the virus.
Yeah, but I'd say looking at the leaves that are dying back, I wouldn't say that's I'd say that's disease, not virus.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Oh dear, everything's starting to go wrong. Well, we've only just started. Never mind. Some geraniums have overwintered. Take some cuttings off that. Looks a bit bedraggled, but it's.
What are you spraying with? Sorry, Colin. What are you spraying with?
I've got some. Is it Dynamec?
Yeah. How much are you using per litre?
Oh, blimey! It's ever so tiny. I have to use a pipette. I think.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah,
half 1 mil or 1 mil, something like that.
Yeah, 1 mil per litre.
Yeah. and mind you, the stuff that I'm using, it's very old. As a chap gave it me 6 or 7 years ago. I don't know whether it
should be all right as long as it's still.
its strength.
Should be all right.
Yeah. There's me dahlias, still waiting for them to kick into life. But I've turned the heat down. There is a mat under those trays, heat mat, but because of the cost, etc., I've turned it down a little bit, so it's not as warm as it has been in previous years. And there's no sign of growth on them as yet, but they'll come.
Yeah.
For daily.
Yeah.
Still early for them though, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you get them early, one of the problems is they won't grow as well as what those that you take later on, because there's no check on the growth.
Yeah. But just as long as they start into growth and I know they're viable, that'll be all right, because you don't necessarily have to take the cuttings off the first growth, do you? If you know what I mean, because I should take cuttings off these, like I think, was it Nick mentioned a couple of weeks ago. Once these send shoots up, you take the cuttings and then use them as the plants to grow on, apparently. So
I've got mine on top of my fish tanks at the moment. In a tray. The fish tanks are nice and warm, so I don't have to pay for any more heating.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah. It is a problem these days, isn't it? Blimey, I don't know.
Yeah, log burner, Colin.
Eh?
Log burner.
A log burner, yeah, good.
Yeah. And pass the heat around to the plants.
Yeah. There's a few leeks that I sowed early. I think that was to test the viability of the compost, that Musselburgh. And then I've got some more in that big pot with the vermiculite on that haven't germinated yet. A few strawberry plants at the back that are got a good root system actually. So I should be planting them out shortly in my baskets. That's in. There's my tough ball onions. Looking at these, everything seems to be struggling. I'm a bit disappointed. But there's once again there's a nice root structure in these. They look a bit spindly and forlorn, but they're going to be all right because the roots down below are nice and wide. So everything's happening below ground at the minute, I think.
You know what they say, don't you? Send them down and send it up.
Yeah. There's a few more geraniums that I've managed to overwinter. I hadn't used to bother trying to keep them, but the price of them now, you go to the garden centres, they want £1.75, £2.50 for a plant. And I thought, blimey, I'll try and keep some over winter. So these have been quite successful. They're going to be all right. Next one, there's some more on the top shelf. But plenty more to go at. I've got some more cuttings to take if when I get time to take them. Yeah, and I'm pleased with this. This is my very first successful rose cuttings. I took these. I think it was must have been August, September time.
Perfect time to take them.
Yeah, and I've lost a couple at the back on the right.
Leave them in the pot a lot longer. Leave them in the pot because the root system won't be strong enough yet.
Yeah. So leave these. Yeah. Okay.
Leave them in the pot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't disturb them.
Right. What, for all season?
You can have a look maybe later on, but wouldn't do it in the spring or the summer. Wait till the autumn.
Oh, right, okay.
Give them a chance to get established first.
Yeah.
The pots are big enough.
Yeah.
Then you'll untangle them and plant them out.
I'm pleased about that because I've tried time and time again in previous years, never been successful. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 5. There's one on the right that you can't see. So
did you put a bit of sand at the bottom of the hole?
the mixture was a sharp sand essentially with some grit, about 50-50 with compost.
Yeah, that'll do, as you can see.
Yeah. I read that the failure of rose cuttings is getting them too wet. You need really good drainage. So I thought I'll get the grit in and the sharp sand and just put a bit of compost in, and lo and behold, yeah, I'm pleased with that.
I see something on Facebook, and if I see it again, I'll send you a link. They did a rose cutting stalk at the top and shoved it in the potato, and they put the potato in the soil, and it worked. I don't know how true it is, but so for
In a potato.
Yeah, they shoved the
I've seen that
rose
before.
cutting in the spud, and the spud into the soil, and it worked better quicker.
And you get the potatoes as well.
Yeah, true. I don't know if it works. We can worth to try.
You get
Yeah, no, I've seen that before.
Yeah. Worth the try.
Oh right. Well, we was feeling a bit miserable. We hadn't had a chipping meal since lockdown. And then my mate said he was enjoying one, so I went online, and the chippy in the next village you're doing click and collect. So that's what we did last week.
How much you pay for that?
Hey?
How much you pay for that?
Well, I tell you,
£2.40.
No.
That's going to be it was 7 or 8 quid here.
We had two cod, 1 portion of chips, and 1 large mushy peas. £16.40.
That's pretty good. It's like at Colligate, I think now for a large fish and chips, nearly a tenner.
Really?
Yeah, nearly a tenner.
Yeah, I was only thinking because I started cooking my own Indians now, as I said. But I mean, if you order one from the Indian, it's probably gone up 20% over the last 3 months.
Yeah.
But the click and collect service was brilliant, because normally go to the local one in the village, but that's shut down up for sale. So I went to this one in Glasgow, and you book it online, and then they give you a 5-minute delivery time.
Yeah.
Right. Mine was between 1 o'clock and 1:05. I went in 2 minutes after 1 o'clock. Click and collect. There you are, sir. And he was waiting for me in a bag on the top of the counter, and I wasn't in there more than 15 seconds.
What's missing off that plate?
Mushy peas.
No. Onions.
Yeah.
That's the
Salt and
one.
vinegar.
That's the one.
That's
Pickled
the
onions.
salad is too dry.
Pickled onions.
Get them mushy peas on there.
Proper pickled onions.
I'll tell you what, after 2 years, I tasted beautiful.
I don't know what it is with people with mushy peas. They're the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted.
Nick, I agree with you.
They're
horrible.
Nick,
Lovely.
Mushy peas that in.
Mushy peas.
No.
Bit of tartar sauce would be lovely.
That's the one, Nick. Mick,
I'm with you, Mick.
Thank
Mushy
God.
peas.
No.
Mushy peas.
Onions. Yeah.
No, it's mushy peas.
Caused a riot here.
Disgusting, man. Mushy peas.
P-A-E-S.
It's like vomit on the plate.
Oh dear. There's I had a bit of spare timber, so I made a little bit of an extension to my propagating tray. You see where the thermostat is and the black plastic. That's stainless steel tray with sand and a not a mat, cabling.
Warming cable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I sort of raised it up now, and this is about 12 inches high above the sand. So and this top here, it's my woodworking skills are really bad. So there's about a 1/2-inch gap around the other side of that, so it just gives it a little bit of ventilation.
You don't never bother with bubble wrap, Colin, then?
Sorry?
You never bother with bubble wrap around your greenhouse?
I did do, Nick, but it started to get dirty, and then to get up and clean it and access it, and I don't know. I perhaps should because of the cost of the heat. But,
I've done it this year, and it's a bloody nightmare to get up.
Yeah,
I'm not sure whether I'll do it again next year.
Do you know what? I've had my bubble wrap up. I bought it's quite expensive. I bubble wrapped a 14 by 8 greenhouse. I always take the roof off in spring. But I paid about 150 quid 5 years ago, and it's just starting to deteriorate now.
Don't keep it up all year though, do you?
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. Never take the sides down or the doors.
All right.
Just the roof and put up shading.
Yeah.
You got rolls and rolls of it at work. Bubble wrap. Rolls with it.
You got to be careful what you buy. If you buy it in B&Q or places like that, it's
I
fairly
bought it
cheap.
from the horticultural place where I volunteer.
Okay,
So it's
you can buy
really
stuff that
thick.
the stuff that I've got is it's like a double bubble wrap. So it's a bubble, then a layer, then a bubble wrap.
Yeah, good strong stuff. Yeah,
good strong stuff, and that's just. I think I'm going to have to replace it this year now.
Is it like that stuff that do the key in the greenhouses, Winnie?
Yeah, that's it. Basically, it's lasted me 5 years. It cost me a couple £100, but it's definitely worth it. And I think it acts as a cool. You might not believe me, but if you leave the sides and doors on, I think it acts cooling in the summer as well. Because although I open the doors up and take some glass out, I think it does cool as well. It prevents the sun from burning your plants.
So mine is not glass, mine is polycarbonate.
Oh, okay, what, your greenhouse?
So, yeah. So
you're probably all right then.
Yeah.
Suzanne, yeah, you're probably all right with that.
Colin, you got anything to say on this photo?
Other than that's it with the lid open. But it works, you know. It
having that extra height.
Yeah, it's just good. I can't afford a Vitapod, so I'll use that. So
if you want to, Colin, if you want a Vitapod, there's 10% off tomorrow. I'm doing Valentine's Day special. I've just seen on the internet.
I'll tell you what, though, Colin. You say you can't afford one. If you buy one, I've been using them for 7-8 years now, probably about that. Never replaced anything. Really reliable for what you spend on your wood, your screws, and everything else, and replacing heating cables and everything else. I think they're pretty cheap, to be fair.
Now, Nigel said that I'm going to have a look, but
you can buy what you can buy. You don't have to buy the whole thing. If you phone them up or look over the website, you don't have. I've never used on my Vitapod. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 3 double ones and 1 single. I've never used the sides.
All right.
Never used the sides. All I do, I heat it, put vermiculite in, and I put a plastic container over the seedling. Exactly the same. So you can save yourself probably 40-50%. The sides, never use them.
30 quid a load.
I see.
Just put something over the top. It does exactly the same. If you put some hose in the top of a plastic container, it does exactly the same as the size. And the most expensive thing of it is the size.
Yeah.
Do some photos for us next week, Nick.
Sorry?
Couple of photos of your Vitapod.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So we know what you're on about.
Yeah.
Good.
Talking about tomorrow night, I've booked a table for tomorrow night, Valentine's. It'll all end in tears.
God.
Oh, romantic.
It'll end in tears. I don't think she likes snooker.
Snooker.
I've heard that one. Like it.
Sorry, boo.
Colin, just a quick, have you thought about putting any reflective stuff inside the box to give the light back a bit?
That's a good idea. I can have a look at that. I haven't done it, but yes, I can see what you mean. Yeah.
Some Mylar or something like that.
Yeah. I'll have a look at that, Nige. Lovely bit of spring look here. We got these. You'll see on the next photos. There's hundreds and hundreds around the garden. They were here when we bought the house 45 years ago, and they just spread and spread and spread. But there's only the one variety. and I don't know how they get around. And that's only a small portion of them. All around the front drive, they're even on the verge outside now.
I take it they must just self-pollinate themselves.
They self-seed,
Yeah.
don't they?
Eh?
And they,
Yeah.
and they self-seed.
Yeah.
Same as bluebells.
Yeah.
It amazes me when you're driving up or walking in a lane and you're 3 miles from nowhere and you see a group of daffodils and you think, wow.
How did I get there? Yeah.
Someone chucked them out the garden.
Nice, cheerful bit of colour. That's it, folks.
Thanks, Colin.
Thank you for that, Colin.
Thanks,
Thank
Colin.
you. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you, Colin. Enjoyed
Good
that.
period being. Right, this is when was this? A couple of days ago. This is in Wicks, and a sale on the bathroom fitting. So Mrs. wants a new bathroom and all this gum. While I was in there, the wench who come and measured up first of all, they come up our drive obviously when I pulled up outside, and they saw me compost signs outside the front door, and I clicked on when I come in. He says, "You're not the compost king, yeah?" And Mrs. bloody curled up. The week before, she bought my book for her old man. He only lives downstairs, so I got a job in for our garden club. I thought that was a coincidence. Anyway, while I was in Wicks, I was having a perv round, and this is their bamboo canes. Obviously 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 foot. Thin as a ferret. Price had doubled. At least my canes are nice and thick.
They am.
Good Bennett. Oh, our next speaker, Suzanne.
Oh, it's
Suzanne.
me. Right, it's only a couple of photos. Most of my pots with plants and stuff are all at the front of my house, and I just thought I'd take a picture of these. There's one each side of my step, and this was new pots that I bought last year, and I put loads and loads of bulbs in them, and I put them in like where the what are they called, the irises that have come up. I think they're irises. They were at the front, and then as it went back to the back of the pot, they got bigger and bigger and bigger, thinking they'd all come out at the same time, and it looked really, really nice, but they didn't. So it's only the irises that have come out in a minute. So I guess they're all going to come out at different times. But I've got irises at the front, then I've got hyacinths that you can see there. Then I think there's daffodils and tulips, and then there's alliums at the back, but they're probably all going to come out at different times. So, and then next one is just the other side, the same pot, the other side.
Oh, nice.
Go to the next pot. Oh,
What did you got on the top of the compost?
That was Christmas. Just before Christmas, I was doing some shredding, and I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put these blue bits in there. I'm going to put some shredding on the top as like a mulch, and not intending for it to look like snow, but I just thought, I'll shove it on just to keep it all warm, and it looked like snow, and I ended up putting it on all my pots, and I had people comment, knock at the door, say, I like your snow. And it was just literally just shreddings from the paper
blown
shredder.
away, is it, Susan?
No, none of it blew away.
And no,
that was taken. I mean, that was taken in the week when I sent them to Mick, and I put that on in early December.
Not earlier than Morris's.
But it really did look nice. It really did look nice, especially when I had all the Christmas decorations up, all the lights and everything, and then I had the snow. Well, but yeah, it looked really nice. It looked like I'd done it on purpose.
Boston.
Yeah. What's that one? That's not mine.
Banana.
Oh, yes, it was. Yes, it was.
You sent me this earlier on in the week.
Yeah, I did. Sorry, I forgot about that one. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Supermarkets in Asia are now using banana leaves instead of plastic
Sacrilege.
packaging.
Yeah,
it's
I thought
good.
that's brilliant.
Good idea.
That's such a good idea.
I cut some more banana leaves
I
off.
don't know what we could use with rhubarb leaves in this country. It'd have to be, wouldn't it?
I'll get send some bananas for you.
It could be an alternative to toilet roll.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Nick! I'll probably throw in your ass. I want to use there.
Yeah, just put it down the toilet afterwards.
Oh no.
Right, this was quite interesting. I saw this and thought, oh, I'll send that to Nick. Basically, this couple in Lincolnshire, they had this bit of ground at their back garden. The back garden didn't have a fence around it, and they thought, there's people coming in my garden. Anyone could just walk on it and just go into their garden. They was having dogs messing in there, and they thought, I want to grow some raised beds in the garden. So they thought they'd put a fence around it. On their deeds, it said the land was theirs. So they put this fence around it, and they did the raised beds. Then they heard from the council, and the council said to them, basically, according to them, the land was an informal open space. So they've basically billed them £469 for putting this fence up around that bit of land. And they said, because it was open land, it should have been left as such, and they were billing them this £469 for, I've written it all down, to fix the breach of planning rules.
What is the matter with
so
people?
that's basically, I know, and the council said that they've basically got to apply for planning permission because it's change of use. Because according to the council, it's change of use. But on their deeds, on the couple's deeds, the land is theirs.
I'll tell you what, they want to get rid of those people at the council.
I know. So they're basically being billed, and they've got to go through all the planning permission to try and get this allowed.
That must have cost them a few quid as well to do that.
Yeah.
Where was that?
This is in Lincolnshire.
Lincolnshire.
But I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I thought, you're having a laugh, aren't you?
Councillor Knobs.
Making it look really, really nice. Tidied it up. There was all dog mess on the grass and everything because it was all open. People used to come into their garden, just walk in their back garden. So they've done all this, makes it look really nice and tidy, and they're getting fined.
The council's been paying them. Tidying up.
Oh, yeah, they should do, yeah.
Huh?
But now, so they've got to get planning permission for change of use.
Oh, it's just
So
rubbish.
whether they'll allow it or not and make them take it all down or not, I don't know.
Well, now it's been
all
the national papers. I'm going to have some grief. The council. I'm going to.
It's funny too. A quick story. A friend of mine's got three bed terrace, and he had a garden. Call it, I don't know, 20 meters, and there's 5 meters or 3 meters, 5 meters of wasteland. It was no man's land. So he'd been there 5 years, and he thought, right, okay, let's dig it all out. So he dug it all up, and he turned it into like a vegetable patch. 18 months later, the council contacted him, bearing in mind he'd been there already 5 years, saying, what are you doing growing on that land? That's council land. And it backed on to somebody's garden. So it was no man's land. And they said, no, you've got to get rid of it. But the land is just completely derelict. You know what I mean?
I think what it is with these things like that one, it's probably classed as what they call not right of way, but right of access. So probably people are allowed to go over it. It's on your deeds, but you can't do anything with it. Because where we used to live, at the back of our house, all of the land right back to the back of our garage was our land. But the bit in between our garden and where the garage was a driveway that our neighbour had right of access across. So it would belong to us, but we couldn't build anything on it. And I think that's probably the same as that.
Yeah.
It's ludicrous. It is ludicrous.
You're absolutely right. I've actually represented people with quite a few of these type of things, and it is right. You have to be really, really careful on your deeds of your property. Right of way, access to people to walk across your property. If it's a farmland, right of way and all that kind of thing. You've got to be ever so careful. And I think a lot of people tend to just think, quite rightly in a way, they can just, put
it's
something
theirs,
up which it's theirs.
Yeah.
But when you actually look at it,
I mean, we've got areas around,
but it's just one of those things.
It's one of those like grey areas, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, well, we've got areas around here that you can go on a public footpath and you can go straight across someone's garden onto the next public footpath. Now they put up signs, no entry, and private property. But actually, there is actually groups out there that make the maps for the public footpaths and that sort of thing. So yeah, you're right, Jacko. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the reason
she's
ours,
right.
where we used to live, the reason ours was done like that is because when the builder built the houses, he was meant to, the one to the right of us, he was meant to leave access down the side for them to get their car down the back, and he didn't make it big enough. So the bit of land that would have been our garden, he had to make access across for him to be able to get his car into his garage because it was built wrong in the first place.
Mm.
So it would have been our garden, but it wasn't in the end.
Look at that young lady.
But we couldn't do anything with it.
There's 3 houses along where I live. I'm one of 4, and about 4 foot to the front of my drive and across all the others is called an easement, and they've got to have access across them. There's no, because I wanted to put a fence right the way down, the council wouldn't let me.
Yeah. Anyway, Suzanne, thank you for that.
All right. Only a
Thank
couple
You
of
years
photos.
ago, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Boston,
Well done.
What deal's that?
What's that?
Oh,
excuse me.
That's not
Is that
me.
you, Mick?
That little
That's
chap's
Mick.
ready to come out.
The
Alien.
48.
Alien.
Good photo, that is.
Alien. I've
I'll
seen
nick
it
this
before.
off John, my mate. This is excellent. Weather forecast is stone. If the stone is wet, it's raining. That's brilliant, eh? All that. Lot. Common sense. Ben was
Oh,
up. So,
Mick. Make him
I
hungry.
had to do my
Mickey,
fat
make
man's
him
breakfast.
hungry.
We could hit that now, Mick.
Look at
Go on,
that.
pass it over.
Roast
Have the one, that
pretty
one.
good and all.
Is that hash
Oh, that-
browns, Mike? Mick?
Yeah.
Oh, horrible things.
Oh. No,
Right.
no, not Nick.
Yesterday down the shed, we had Steve Many could come. Zoomer, obviously. He purchased from our shed, plus dropped off some gladicorns. Good to see
Thank
him
you very
again.
much.
There's yours, Paul. What he bought for
Thank
you?
you, Russ. I'll see come pick him up in the week. Cheers, boss.
Bought a Trader Orn, Princess Margaret, me and Mark. Now I've got 4 mixed gladicornlets. If anybody wants them, if you're interested, just message me and I'll send them to you. Dave Chesterfield sent me that wood chip. It's a bit blurred. Was a natural molten wheat suppressant. Temperature buffering and water condensation. Young growing medium for propagating plants. Decomposing source, warm for odd beds in the greenhouse. Carbon-rich composting ingredient that supports beneficial fungi and microorganisms, which we know anyway. It's a powerful soil booster. But that was good reading. If anybody's interested, there's a book out.
Is there any wood chip that you should avoid? Are there any trees that have been made into wood chip that you should avoid? Or
Don't use cedar.
All good to go. Sorry?
Don't use cedar. And also
conifer, I keep away from as well.
Oh, really? I was just going to say, what about Christmas tree?
Trouble is, when they chip it, you don't know.
Trees.
You don't know, do you?
Chop them up.
What do
don't
you
use
say,
walnut
Mick?
as well.
Keep away from conifer.
Yeah, but you don't know what's in there.
You don't.
So I shouldn't be shredding my Christmas tree then. To use as
Yeah,
mulch.
good stuff. Good.
But that's
Christmas tree, good.
conifer, isn't it?
No, it ain't conifer.
It's a fir.
Different.
Oh,
Fir.
right, okay.
Right,
Christmas tree, good.
Oh, that's all right then.
I would chip pile on the allotment. So all I'm going down is about 6 inches with my handful. This was Saturday. Now under that 6 inches, there is nature working away already. Plus, you've got worms. Now that's in wood chip. So I've had a good dollop of that. Right, we talk next week. Bulkington Community Conference Centre. This is a dinner time talk, and it's to Bulkington Ladies Group. Why is that? Because I'm outlasting the men, that's why. Now, if I'm talking them a lot, will I be able to get a word in? Yes. I hope none of them might listen to the Zoom. But that should be good. 1:30 till 3:30. So they can have a full talk. All that last hour and a half, and then Q&A at the end. But they make a change at dinner time, which is many of the clubs do it.
A question. I'm thinking about buying some grapevines, but I've heard you can buy dry cut grapevine, just the sticks. They any good?
Grapevine to what?
It's having the root balls on. They're just a stick. They any good? Just some
Stick.
bloke on. Yeah, just a stick, and you can root them on.
You
Yeah,
can't, you can't go wrong with rooting grapes.
Yeah, that's what I was on eBay. There was 3 of them. I think that was like £7.
If you get the cuttings about thickness
About-
of your little finger,
Yeah, they're about 6 inches
and
long.
all
tall.
you got to do is cut an inch and a half either side of a node,
Yeah.
and they'll probably all root. Lay them sideways
Yeah.
on the in a tray, and they'll just grow.
Okay, that's great. I'll order some then. Thank you. I thought it was worth a try.
If you have any problems, give us a shout.
I will. Cheers.
Thank you, Mick.
Thank you, Mick. That was a good one.
Right, people.
I've got a question for everybody.
Thank you, mate.
Thank
Go
you,
on,
Mick.
Nick.
Thank you to my speakers tonight.
Does anybody grow coleus?
I need a few more speakers for next week while you've still got hold of you. Even if it's only a couple of photos.
Wilkie sold the seeds.
Yes.
I've got
Nick.
coleus seeds to put
Coleus.
in.
Yeah, I grew them last year. I grew a packet of seed last year. They're very easy to grow.
Yeah, I've got some unusual ones from Nick Pengelly, who I've acquainted from Just Seeds. He sent me some unusual varieties, and I can't remember. I never took no pictures of them. You sowing them now?
No,
just-
no, I haven't looked. I haven't sown anything yet. So in a couple of weeks, maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
What does the expert Colin say?
It's not far off time because they do take a bit
long
of
time.
germination.
Right.
But yeah, I follow an American bloke called it's on Facebook, something stupendous coleus, and he tells you all about them. But there's so many. There seems to be thousands of varieties, but they are a nice one. I've got some. I tell you, who's the best chap to ask questions about them on here? Is Martin. I think is he giving us a talk next week, Mick?
Martin.
Martin.
This is the coleus.
Is it? I've got
Keith Hine.
That's the
Keith,
one.
sorry, Keith. Keith,
I'll take some.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah, it was
Amazon
Keith,
driver,
yeah.
Martin.
I'll take some pictures of the seeds I've got.
I've got
I'm gonna sow.
coleus scutillariodis palisandra and coleus wizard mixes. That's the ones I've got to do.
Yeah, I did Wizard Mix last year.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
I've no idea what this
It's-
scutillariodis
Yeah,
is.
Andy's got one there.
Andy, is that live?
This is one. This is the name variety.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been growing in his beard.
What's that? I
Among
can't see
other
it.
things, and me dinner.
But my
Oh,
one
he's on it.
Oh, that one.
He's in there.
Oh,
That's the one.
Now that's
I
a
bought
pretty.
a collection
Well,
of
he
these.
keeps disappearing.
And,
It does,
and they're so easy to take cuttings of.
Okay.
In my conservatory, I've got a couple of hydroponic units in there, and what I'll do, I'll just float a polystyrene slab on the top of one of these units with some little holes in, and you root in no time.
Yeah. Andy, was it you? It was on Facebook that I can't find the post. You're talking about DWC pot? No.
Waterculture. No, it wasn't me.
Okay. Someone said to me about one of my onions, putting it into a I can't remember, a WDC.
No, that wasn't me. Certainly not. No. I mean, I've got probably I've probably got 24 of these coleus. I've got streptocarpus as well.
I'll take some pictures next week, Andy, and send them to Mick and show you the ones that I'm going to grow.
Right. I mean, there's they're so easy.
There's a face. Yeah,
I've got
there's
them
a
all around the
Facebook.
kitchen.
There's a Facebook page, the Coleus dedicated Facebook page, that they grow them out in Asia and all over the place. Absolutely incredible what they do.
Yeah. You see that wall there behind me?
I thought that was a picture.
No, well, that's in the conservatory, but that was taken just over a year ago.
See you, Jeff.
Bye, Jeffrey.
And I've got what is it? There's 20 air plants hanging on that wall as well. I've got orchids as well. I've got. I mean, that was built for my orchids. I'll get a couple of my orchids.
Oh, here we go.
Cool, Billy.
Disappeared, didn't it?
Oh, nice tonight.
It's like Star Trek, isn't it?
Andy, photos for next week. Air plants and whatever.
Yeah, they're lovely.
Yeah, they're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, the flowers on them, the colours.
They flower for a couple of months or more. Easy.
Yeah.
I've got one that's I belong to. Well, we have an orchid society meeting once a month with the Cheshire and North Wales Orchid Society, and it'll be the 3rd month. So it's a 2-month gap where I've had these in flower. Yeah. I'm also a member of this society, Pathelpediums.
Impressive now, Andy. Sorry. Yeah.
Well,
thank you for that.
You know,
take some
photos.
photos.
It gives you something to do.
Take some photos of your air plants and all. Show the troops. If
It'd
you've
be
got it,
interesting
flaunt
to know
it.
about orchids as well, because I'm trying to get me orchids to flower again.
Yeah.
In that conservatory there's 2 1-meter-long fish tanks on one side, and there's 4 water butts. In the water butts, there's an air stone in each one. So it's all rainwater, and the air stone keeps it moving because the orchids like air, oxygen in the water. 35 litres a minute air is pumped through the 4 tanks. The water butts then automatically feed the fish tanks. I do a change of 50% water every week.
And
the fertilizer added twice a day.
Photos for next week. That'll be great.
Yeah.
But I've been summoned.
Yeah, I'm going to go now.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody, take care.
See you all, folks.
See you all.
Mick,
Cheers.
ignore all those photos I've sent you. I sent you them all in one go.
Okay, right. Cheers, Nick.
See you later.
Bye.